What up, Giants fans? Welcome into today's show. We're going to touch on the latest news and rumors surrounding the Giants. But before we do, it's Eagles week. And I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I know you do too. If you hate the Eagles, I want you to go down right now and like this video because our Eagles channel is also having a like battle with us on this video. And I want to put them in the dirt. You hate the Eagles, go ahead, like this video. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. In today's show, we're going to touch on the latest injury news on Adoree Jackson. Then we're going to go through my Giants versus Philadelphia Eagles preview. We'll take a look at the NFL playoff picture, maybe who the Giants will match up against in the wild card weekend round, and we'll talk about should the Giants rest the starters. We have a loaded show today. Let's lock it in. Let's start with Adoree Jackson, the Giants cornerback who has not played in quite some time since he sprained his MCL on that punt return. He was a limited participant during practice on Wednesday. He started practicing a little bit last week, kind of ramping that up this week. I don't expect him to play. I think if the playoffs were this Sunday, he would play. But with the Giants being locked into the 6th seed, win or lose against the Philadelphia Eagles, I really don't think there's a need to rush back Adoree Jackson. Maybe get him a couple reps to knock the rust off, but I'm not trying to give him a heavy workload. I mean, it's been incredible the job and the patchwork job that this cornerback depth chart has been able to do without Adoree Jackson on the football field. You've seen guys like Fabian Moreau step up. Darnay Holmes has had a couple good games. Nick McLeod has played some good football. Cordell Flott has played some good football as well. I thought it was going to be really hard. I don't think they replaced him. We didn't ever get the production at the cornerback spot without Adoree Jackson, but these guys on screen were able to hold down the ship. When you lose a talented player like Jackson, who is asked to do so much in a Wink Martindale defense of consistently playing man-to-man, one-on-one coverage in this man-to-man blitz-heavy scheme that Martindale likes to run, and you lose a guy like that, it's hard to replace, especially when you don't have a lot of money tied up in this this spot on the depth chart. It's incredible what they've been able to do. That's a credit to the coaches. That's a credit to the players. Big ups to them. Fabian Moreau, he's earned a lot of money for himself this offseason. We're going to break down the rest of the injury report coming up in a second, but I do want to let you guys know that here at Chat Sports, we have multiple channels. We have almost every single NFL channel. Giants channel, run by yours truly, and our Eagles Now channel, run by Chase Sr., who I am desk mates with at work. And I walked into work today and he told me, "Yo, Marsh, you check how many subs you picked up this week?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We picked up 62 subs. He was like, "Yeah, well, over on Eagles Now, we have over 100 more subs this week than you guys do." And I can't take the shit talking anymore because I'm going to get upset. And Chase is my guy, but it is F the Eagles week. So help us catch Philadelphia Eagles Now in subs this week. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. So that's what you're looking for. We're a one-stop shop on YouTube for the best Giants coverage. Go down right now, hit that big red button. Let's get to the rest of the injury report. Guys that did not participate in practice on Wednesday. Jon Feliciano is dealing with a back injury. D lineman Leonard Williams is dealing with that neck injury. Azeez Ojulari, still they're monitoring that ankle injury. I don't think it's anything new. None of these guys really have new injuries. Dexter Lawrence had a rest day. Look, you got a 18-week season. And right now, the game really doesn't matter. I think the Giants are doing the right thing. They are putting an emphasis and a priority on rest and making sure guys are fresh going into that wild card weekend. It's always a slippery slope when you play that game. Do you value more rest or do you value more sharpness? It's always something that a coaching staff is going to battle. And the question has already been asked to Brian Daboll, is he going to rest the starters? And he talked about what Tom Coughlin did back in the 2007 season when the Giants played the New England Patriots back in Week 17, where the Giants were locked into their spot. The Patriots were locked into their spot. They were obviously trying to complete the perfect regular season. Tom Coughlin played the starters. Giants battled them to the last second of the game. They lost, but they made them hot, got them on their P's and Q's. They came into the playoffs with momentum. And as we know, 2007 Super Bowl, Giants beat the Patriots again. Brian Daboll said that has nothing to do with this year. I expect some of the starters to play, but guys that I would rest are the guys that have a heavy workload on this team. A guy like Leonard Williams, who's already been hurt. I don't think there's a need for a veteran like Leonard Williams to play. Azeez Ojulari has been in and out of the lineup this year. He's just coming back from an ankle injury. I wouldn't rest him. I wouldn't push him, excuse me. I would rest him. Maybe you give these guys a series or two just to stay sharp, but I wouldn't overwork any of these guys. Dexter Lawrence, he's had a workload unlike any interior defensive lineman so far this year. I'd give him the game off. Saquon Barkley. You lose Saquon Barkley in Week 18 and you head to Minnesota to play him. That's a big loss. I wouldn't play a guy like Saquon Barkley. And a guy like Kayvon Thibodeau, I think he's just too valuable. We've seen him bruised up a little bit, missed the first couple games of the season with that sprained MCL. These are the 5 guys that I would for sure not play. I honestly wouldn't play Adoree Jackson either. We said that earlier in the video, coming back from injury. And I wouldn't give Xavier McKinney too heavy of a workload. Overall, nobody needs to be overworked. I'm not playing Julian Love 90% of the snaps. And I'm not playing Andrew Thomas too much or Evan Neal too much. I honestly wouldn't even really play Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas, and Daniel Jones more than a half. If I was the head coach, I would treat this game like the last preseason game. Everybody plays a little bit. The guys that are already hurt, we sit them out, and then you take them out of the game sooner rather than later, because it's a good time to evaluate the rest of the roster and see where they are at. I would monitor the usage of the big guys. I wouldn't really play the starters all that much. But what do you say? I want all the Giants Now real ones to sound off in the comments section. What would you do? If you were Brian Daboll, what would you do with the starters in Week 18 versus Philly? Sound off. Let me know. Would you bench them? Would you start them? Would you play them a little bit? I want to hear from the real ones. Let me know what you would do with the starters. We're going to get more injury news, preview, keys, and all that in this video. We got a lot to talk about, but first I want to tell you about an app that I'm using in 2023 that's helping me save money. Yes, that is Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Giants now. It's an app that's going to organize and optimize all of your financials, and you can cancel your unwanted and unused subscriptions with just a tap. It's going to show you all your subscriptions in one place. It helps you keep track of your monthly expenses, about how much money you're spending at one spot. Our Dolphins Today host, he uses this app. He spent over $700 at Chick-fil-A this past year. That is a record, I think, and that is incredible. And I promise you, with him using Rocket Money now, he is not going to do that again. Look, everybody knows when you have an unwanted and unused subscription, how hard it is to cancel it. You can do that with just a tap of a button thanks to Rocket Money, where you can view all your subscriptions on one screen. Help me save money. I want you to save money. Use Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Giants now. When you look at the NFC playoff picture, no matter what happens in Week 18 in this Giants-Eagles game, if the Giants tie, yeah, I said tie because we already know that's happened. If the Giants tie, they lose, or they win, they are locked in at the number 6 seed. Like we talked about earlier, do you play the starters? At this point in the preview videos, we list my keys to victory. Today, it's just MG's keys. And the number 1 key in Week 18 is leave the game healthy. You don't want to have an injury to a guy like Daniel Jones or Andrew Thomas or Saquon Barkley or Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James. You don't want to lose anybody in this game for the season. So that means monitor the usage. Monitor the snap count. Don't overwork anybody. And this is a game that you have to lose by a couple of touchdowns just to keep everybody ready and healthy for the wild card weekend, round 1 of the playoffs. I am in that boat. I would rest most of the players with heavy usage. I also think it's a good time to continue to build momentum. And you don't have to just win to build momentum. Stack good plays. Stack good possessions. Stack good series. Find ways to continue to get better. Just play technically sound football. That's what I'm looking for this week. Leave the game healthy and continue to build momentum, because you want to go into this wild card weekend matchup with some sauce, with some swag, with a little bit of, I guess, something to prove, because the Giants do, but with a good bit of rhythm. You don't just want to lose rhythm, and I know that's kind of hard by resting the starters, but there is a line that you can toe. That's why I kind of lean towards the last game of the preseason kind of mindset of how I would play the players. But when you look at this wild card, situation in the NFC playoff picture. If the season ended today, the Giants would be playing the Minnesota Vikings in round 1. They'd be traveling to Minnesota. They most likely will play Minnesota. If Minnesota wins this week and San Francisco loses, that means the Giants would play the San Francisco 49ers. That's the only way that would pretty much change. But with the Niners playing the Cardinals and the Vikings playing the Bears, sounds like the Vikings aren't going to play too many other stars. They're kind of like the Giants. They have some critical guys banged up. So I think the Giants will most likely be locked in and playing the Minnesota Vikings. But if the Giants do beat the Eagles and the Cowboys beat the Washington football team, that means that the Dallas Cowboys would win the NFC East. And that would change up the home field advantage in that one time. So maybe you want to play spoiler. Maybe you hate the Cowboys. Maybe you hate the Eagles. Maybe you want to beat the Eagles and have the Eagles fall down in the playoff picture and the Cowboys rise. So there's a lot of stuff you could be rooting for this weekend. But I want to ask this question because maybe you just absolutely hate the Eagles. And you don't really care too much about the Cowboys. So you want to beat the Eagles and you want the Cowboys to win, and that way the Cowboys get the higher seed. Who do you hate more? I want to hear from you in the comments section. Let me know. What team do you hate more? Type PHI for the Eagles, DAL for the Dallas Cowboys. Let me know what you think. This is going to get interesting in the comments section. My last key to this weekend's game against the Philadelphia Eagles is evaluation. This is rare air for an NFL team. You get a meaningful game because the Philadelphia Eagles are playing for something. They have to win. If they don't and the Cowboys win, their season is much different than they thought it was just 3 weeks ago heading into the playoffs. So you're going to be able to see guys that don't play that many snaps usually play a lot of snaps, and you're going to be able to evaluate them. And that is so critical that you get real NFL time to evaluate essentially the bottom third of your roster heading into the offseason. You get to see which guys you want to keep around, which guys have gotten better this year. That's what I'm looking for. Leave the game healthy. Try to continue to build up some momentum and evaluate the rest of the roster. Get an extended look at Tyrod Taylor. Decide if you want him to be your backup quarterback. Maybe you get to see Kenny Golladay play some more snaps, and he starts to get a rhythm. I know we're wishing for the stars and the moon with that one, but you get to see more from Gary Brightwell and more from Matt Breida, and you get to see some of the young backup offensive linemen play. I think this is a critical week for the Giants, but the number one key and the only thing I really care about is leave the game healthy. I appreciate everyone, as always, for tuning in and making New York Giants Now by Chat Sports a part of your day today. Let's hit a real one roll call, because I like to know which people finish the videos. That's what we do this for. If you made it this far in the video, comment real one down below so when I go and check out the comments and respond to you guys, I know who finished the video.